Welcome back, everyone, to episode 8 of New Mapleton. I'm building a true vanilla city in Cities Skylines, and the last episode had a little bit of an issue, so I'm just going to give you a nice view of some of the changes we've made in Industrial Heights. But I want to share something I just learned, which is very exciting. There are 3 completely free DLCs available for Cities Skylines. The first is called Carols, Candles, and Candy. This one is just 5 new tracks of Christmas music, so we're not really going to spend much time talking about that today. The next one is called Match Day, which brings football stadium and a new football mechanic to the game, which we're going to build a little bit later. And for those of you who are American, it's European football, so a soccer stadium. And the third one is the Pearls of the East, which is really going to play a role in our story today. So Earl Dixon has just gotten back from a tour of China and Japan and the East, and he's so inspired by it, and he's been selling his businesses here in Industrial Heights. There's still a few left here, which he's going to sell in the near future to be converted to office space and to kind of clean up the downtown. But he's taken this inspiration and he really wants to build an Oriental temple over here in Arber Heights. And this is a really cool looking asset here. So the things that come with the Pearls of the East DLC is the temple complex here. We've got this Oriental Pearl Tower, which we may build in the future. A Panda sanctuary, which I don't know. I'm not too keen on that, especially since I don't think the city is in China, so we'll skip that one. And it also comes with some nice bamboo trees and things. But we're just going to build this temple. It's a little tacky, but Earl Dixon thinks it's going to be a brilliant addition to Arber Gardens to really pull it together. So right at the end of this little cul-de-sac here, he's going to build this massive complex. Now, of course, we have to get rid of a few houses and change the roads a little bit, but I think this is going to be a beautiful addition to the area and really tie it all together. There we go. We'll put it right next to the tropical garden. The Japanese garden isn't too far away. Look at that. Definitely need some landscaping to help out here. This is quite a beautiful addition to our botanic garden here. Let's take a look at some of these bamboo trees. There we are. We've got a single bamboo, little bamboo bunch. We need to finish our path around this neighborhood. Now, Earl has really put a lot of money into this project. Some developers, of course, made a pretty penny on it, but he wants to make sure this neighborhood really gets completed and becomes just a massive tourist attraction in the future. So we'll add a little gazebo here, some trash cans, a place for people to wander around. Yep, and this is really starting to feel like a complete garden here. We're going to do a bit more landscaping later, but we have much more pressing business to work on today to help this city grow to the next level. Another thing that I learned, and this is just for fun, you can click on these people and you can actually rename them. So we can, instead of Jeremy Smithson, we could make him Earl Dixon. Or this person here. Now, because Earl has been working on this pet project of his, he's had to really step back from his role on the board. Oh, and we're having power issues. So that's the first problem the board is going to have to face. And I think what we need to do is diversify our power options. Now, since we hit that last milestone, we can build a solar power plant, and I think that's the right way to go. So we're going to do exactly that, and we're going to bring it down here to bring power to this side of the city much quicker. We're going to build it up here, actually. Make a little service road. Let's do a little terraforming first. Now, even though Earl has stepped back from the board a bit, his goal of a sustainable city is kind of written into the code of the city, and that's going to hang around for a long time. So any new board members or new administrators will have to respect that going forward. There we go. We've got a new power option. We're going to have way too much power, so what we can do is actually maybe decommission a few of our other wind farms that aren't producing quite so much. Yeah, I'd say these are definitely the ones we want to get rid of first. They're a bit of an eyesore too. Eventually we'll decommission some of these, I think, too, because they're not very efficient where they're placed. We'll do some offshore wind energy instead. But for now, we've got tons of power that's going to help us with our next build. Now, the next thing we really want to do is we're going to buy some more land. So we want to start developing this beachfront property and really bring in tourists. So something I've been neglecting to do in previous episodes is really take or discuss the design-centered approach I want to take in building the city. Now, a design-centered approach can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people, but I'm going to talk a little bit about a simplified version of my design approach. The first thing we need to do is do a little bit of research. We want to deconstruct what it is we need in this space by looking at existing beachfront spaces. Since we don't have one in this city, we'll deconstruct other beachfronts around the world in reality, and that'll help us, first of all, keep things real, but also consider what are the needs of a beachfront area, what's really important. So as we zoom in here on the beach by Lisbon, there's a lot going on, but I want to draw your attention just to the main road that's set a little bit back from the beach and running parallel. This is something you're going to see in every single one of the beaches we've got. Now, along the beach, right up front, there's a smaller road, and it has a bunch of little roundabouts too. If we zoom in along the Jersey Shore, we see that same parallel road, but we'll also see within the grid a lot more of the perpendicular roads feeding down to that beach. If we go to Constanța in Romania, we'll actually see even a much higher density of those perpendicular roads, and I think that really helps with the flow of traffic to get people down to the beach. We see the same thing in Durban, and now you can see there's a bunch of hotels along the beach, so all the tourists can go straight to the beach. They don't have to walk through the whole town. You see something similar in Daytona, where the residences are set back and all the commercial properties, the restaurants, the hotels are right up next to the beach. In Casablanca, it's a little more mixed, but there's like a whole kind of restaurant sector, which is kind of nice. But the one I really like, and I think is the best suited for what we want to do, is Panda in Devon. There's a lot of residents around. But then down by the beach, where we've got the hotels, there's also these really great green spaces and parks. So you can kind of keep all the noise of the beach away from the houses. And it just really is just a much more beautiful looking beach, if you ask me. So as we saw, one of the most important things is going to be about the accessibility of this beachfront area. So every beachfront area has a road that goes parallel to the beach, or roughly parallel to the beach anyway. And then if we do grids or any kind of grid structure, we're going to have lots of roads, with a higher density of roads running perpendicular. In our case, we want it to be walkable, so it's not just going to be roads, but also pedestrian areas. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to start by building this big road. We're going to connect down this main collector down to the beach as well. And I'd like to have, I think, a nice park area here with all of the pedestrian areas feeding down there. Now, we're only going to build half of it right now. We're going to build up to about that center line. So maybe we'll make that our first point. So I think let's start by connecting those two roads. And this road coming down, I'm just going to build with a dirt road for now, because we don't want to waste a ton of money on a road we're not really going to use as much. Now, a lot of beaches have roundabouts coming near the beach, and I think that's what we're going to go with. I'm going to try rebuilding that. For some reason it looks wonky, and I don't know why. Perfect. Not really, but it's good enough. Now we need to decide where exactly this park is going to go, and let's look at our park assets. Maybe we have a nice park that will work well down by the beach. Floating cafe sounds like a great idea, but... So, looking back at this video while I'm editing it now, I noticed that the population suddenly started to drop here, and I totally missed it while I was building. I'm actually making a short follow-up video to this episode to explain what I think happened and the way to fix it. In the meantime, I think for the story, we'll just say that there was another wave of Grovid hit the city, and that's unfortunate. Oh dear. Seeing some abandoned buildings, some dead people. Something funny is going on. Let's find out what it is. Oh gosh. Dead people, abandoned houses everywhere. This is not good. Oh, we need some more crematoriums. All of a sudden, so let's start with that. Let's sneak one in over here by the hospital. It's a little morbid, but I mean, it's practical, I think. The question is, why are my buildings empty? That's even more scary. We need more elementary schools. So I think this is a good time for the board to take a moment and look at our infrastructure needs. So I'm going to do that real quick. This is something that a city would probably have somebody assigned to do regularly, but in game we just have to kind of stop and look back and go, oh shoot, I need a school. So let's build a new elementary school right in our new community here. A nice beach elementary school. Put it right on the corner, and we're going to need to do some zoning right away. Disconnected power grids. Oh, uh-oh. That might be a bigger problem. Looks like everything's connected. Let's take a quick look around and see if we can figure out what's going wrong. Ah, I see. It's yelling about this cable here. We'll just get rid of that. But what we should do is make our whole network circular. I think in the real world in infrastructure, you'd want to have a circular power grid just to be safe in case something goes wrong at one end, it's connected somewhere else. And we have lost a lot of population, so something has gone really wrong. And there's a lot of abandoned buildings. But the city needs to grow despite that, so we're just going to keep zoning. Or at least that's what the board wants. I've emptied the cemetery, so we're going to go ahead and remove it. Everybody's very sad about that, but we'll put in some houses and maybe they'll want to live here instead. Now with abandoned buildings comes lower property values, and unfortunately with lower property values comes crime. So I think we're going to need to up our police presence, at least temporarily. We're going to build a police headquarters over here by the jail just to make sure there's no crime problems, but I'm not really sure what has gone horribly wrong with the city. If just everybody died and it's all abandoned, or if we had a power problem that I missed. But we've got no demand. Everybody's very uninterested in living here suddenly. I think we need to increase the attractiveness of some of our areas in hopes of wooing some people back into the city. This is a bit of a band-aid, but that's what the board knows how to do. They spend money. Put a large playground in near this school. Okay, and our demand is slowly coming back. Don't worry about our transport a bit. How are we doing on schools? Elementary. We need one more elementary school. maybe over in Arber Gardens. And we're going to need another high school as well. Let's put that also in our new neighborhood. Beachfront High School. I'm going to resist the urge to call it Bayside High. It's not even on the bay. It's on the ocean front, but maybe we'll come up with a nice little story for this high school in the future. It's going to be right near the government sector. It's probably going to be a higher income area, especially with all these beach houses. The old high school and basketball court combo. Everybody likes that. We have some commercial needs, so we're actually going to try and build that up a bit. Alright, unfortunately our design project got derailed a bit by what's going wrong in the city. And it's not very clear what's causing this. Our transport, try and get some of these dead bodies taken care of. May have just been another death wave. There's still not nearly enough demand in this city for the growth that we want to see. There is just a little bit of demand. So in order to connect this high school, get it power, we're going to at least build some houses here and hope that we can ride this little bit of a growth wave, keep things moving. And we'll need a bus line. We'll make this bus line go past the train station and give a chance for tourists to make a connection down to the beach. And we'll of course do a reverse line here. This is the Sunny Gold beach line. And looks like our demand is coming back a bit. So we can do maybe a bit of zoning over here. See if we can get some people to move in. And this down here is going to be nice prime real estate, right on the waterfront. I think everybody's going to want to live here. And let's expand the shopping center area down here. Now, this little shopping area is being built up by our new player, Doug. He's making some money off this. This mall. Oop, no power. Alright, we're going to zone a bit more residential here in hopes of getting power down to this. Okay, it looks like our population is back, so whatever went wrong seems to have corrected. And now we're right back on the right track. So let's get back to worrying about this neighborhood. Hopefully some of these abandoned buildings will start to fill up elsewhere. It looks like they're already disappearing pretty rapidly, so that's a good sign. Put in a little more office buildings here, just to fill that in, and a few more trees. Now that we've got some growth going, we need to think about the commercial zone. So this will be a nice park here, and we'll have more residential over here. But people are going to come in, they're going to want to go right down to the beach. We'll have a nice boardwalk and lots of commercial zones down in this area. So let's build up some zoning here, let this grow, and then we can start working on this area. Now I think for right now, we just need more residential in here. And we're going to go with the higher density, but we're going to make them a little smaller. We'll do three wide instead of 4. And this will leave some space for walking paths in between. And these walking paths are the key feature of allowing people to get down to the beach. Now it'd be nice if we could zone this not just for commercial, but specifically for tourism. You know, build hotels and stuff along here, the coast. I think that would be the very popular thing. We'll see, but we need more commercial for sure. So for now, let's build some up by the train station here. And we'll need to do an audit soon and check the usage of this train station. I see buses going by it, but I don't know how many people are actually getting on. Now behind the train station here we've got this government area, so I think that's a good place to also put a good office district. So let's take a look at our terrain and build some roads. Now to get up and down this hill I think we'll need to do a little terracing. And we'll say that this is actually being paid for by a national grant, because the country, whatever country this is, really wants to use this as an important government seat for the region. So they're putting a lot of money into developing this kind of governmental office area. And of course the whole city benefits from this. So everybody agrees. Okay, we've got some healthy growth going. These houses here, and I think, yeah, we're going to keep going with the offices a little bit just to get that demand down, and then we're going to expand over here and start building up our commercial zone. Now, in order to keep people happy and help buildings level up, we're going to build some nice plazas here. Let's say, yeah, plaza with picnic tables. Or maybe we have a unique building we can put down here. That'd be great. Fountain of Life and Death. That sounds a bit ominous. Opera House. Oh, there was, yes, this Expo Center. I think this is a great idea. Oh, look at that. Yeah, near the train station. Makes quite a lot of noise. It's got a big noise radius. I think if we have it closer to the offices, away from the high school, away from the housing, that's a good idea. Expo centers are absolutely great for business and industry. In this case, the government can also use it for conferences. They're going to have to bring in experts for various issues and discuss them. So again, we'll go with a terrace here and give this a nice prominent place right in the core area of the office, the governmental office district. Yep, we're going to put it on a little plateau here. I know that seems weird, but we'll have a nice view. We'll have to do a bit of landscaping to really tie it in. And I've really been neglecting the landscaping overall. I think episode 10 might just be some nice soothing music and a lot of landscaping, make it a nice peaceful episode. Okay, we've got a lot of office demand, so let's really build out this office sector now. I think we're actually leaving quite a lot of empty space here, so I really want to fill this in and make it look like a city that's really sold all of its land to somebody who wants to use it. We'll put in a nice bit of a tree buffer here, and then we can build a path. Now, speaking of paths, we need to be thinking about the paths we want for people to take down to the beach. So I'm going to go ahead and build those now so that they're already in place. I'm going to give them a little shape here. Give it a nice aesthetically pleasing look from the top, but also you get a nice, kind of meander down to the beach. To get into the park, people are going to want to take a path underground. We don't want them crawling through all this traffic in here, so we're going to build underground paths for this. I'm just going to build that one for now, just as a reminder that that's what I want to do, because we're not building there yet. Wow, we have a lot of industrial demand, so let's make some jobs. I think we're just going to expand this forestry industry. Look at how fast they build. Man, they are desperate to make some jobs for this town. So we're actually going to chalk this industry up to a new player in town. The one we mentioned before, his name is Doug. We're just going to call him Doug. He's a very, very busy businessman. Now, Earl Dixon's been stepping back from the board for his pet project, but Doug is very interested in being involved with this town. In fact, he's already butted heads with Jocelyn and has suggested that they switch from the board system to an electoral mayoral system. So he wants to have just a proper mayor of the town. And he's been pushing for this because he thinks it will be much better management for the overall town. So he's been building a lot of the properties and developing this land here and pushing campaign for that, which the board has followed up till now. And the elections are coming up, and he's actually putting on the ballot, or has managed to convince the board to put on the ballot, whether or not they want a mayor. Now this is going to put up a bit of a rivalry. Earl Dixon hasn't decided if he's going to run, but Jocelyn is definitely going to run, and Doug is definitely going to run. And it will ultimately determine the future of this city. Okay, we built a lot of industry. I think we need a bit more office, and then we can continue our growth of this neighborhood. Let's check our needs. And we need to increase our university presence, so I think it's time to build another university. Now right now we don't have the DLC, so we only have one real option. So I think it's time to build it over here in Park Square. So let's build a little infrastructure for that. And the board is going to put it to a vote what to name this university. I guess right now we'll just call it the Park Square University. Okay, we need some serious industrial capacity, so let's build some more office space. I'm going to have to work on unlocking some new special buildings, because these standard office buildings are nice, but I think I want to give this office area and the government a lot of character, because if it's going to be such an important government sector of the region, it should have a feel. It should be the thing you see on a postcard when you come to New Mapleton. I'm going to leave a little space here for a path to get through, so you can walk right up to the courthouse if you want. I'm anticipating this being a popular path going from the train station right to the government seat. So we'll come back and landscape it a little bit later. Yeah, that looks pretty good. We still have massive industrial demand. Oh. And still lots of people dying, and I guess people have gotten tired of following the guidelines for Grovid, so it just keeps coming back. Nobody likes living near the railroad tracks, so we're just going to build some offices there. And I have neglected to do some districting, so we need to expand the farms here. We need to paint the government seat and the beachside residence. Call this Sunnyside, and then the National District. Now back to our beachfront, and I think this is the area where we build the commercial side. So let's start by building our quay. This is very small. I've never built a quay wall before. Shoreline required. I guess I'm not close enough to the shore. Okay, so we can't build a quay. I'm not really sure how to emulate a boardwalk build. We'll come back to that. But that's what we would build down here. Instead, we're just going to build some commercial zones. Leave space for the path. I'm going to build some higher density commercial. I would think that this is where we'd build hotels and things, but I'm not sure what will happen, so we'll just find out. Now, the government people that want to live here are thinking, yeah, I'll live by the beach, that'll be really nice. They'll make a lot of lower density residential here. And we're back to having massive industrial need. And another death wave. Oh dear. Well, despite all the death, I think this build has gone really well. You can see the houses growing here in Sunnyside. Businesses growing, commercial business. Our interchange is functioning, although it probably needs a little improvement, but we'll get there. But overall, things have gone really well. And in the next episode, we're going to build a stadium using the Match Day DLC. So look forward to that. In the meantime, due to the case of Grovid, Earl Dixon has fallen sick. More on that next time. See you then.